So I want to talk about Q School, which is the qualifying school to try to get onto the Corn Ferry Tour, which is like AAA version of a Major League Baseball team for golf. And I first want to like holler at the new CEO of the PGA Tour, Brian Rowlett. And this is in response to a guy who is like, it costs $7,000 to like make a run at Q School, and he was like, "Well, I didn't do it because I didn't have 7,000." And in wake of NIL, where if you are a college basketball player or a college football player and you were making hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to play an amateur sport, the idea that ambitious young people want to make a run at the Q School and the PGA Tour doesn't have a little slush fund set aside for these guys is a fucking joke, right? So I think what this guy did was there was like a local spice company that gave him the $7,000, and then he just wore like the hat of that company. And what this really shows me is two things. One, there's only like 30 or 40 guys that really matter on the PGA Tour. So like when they raised that new fund from, the Fenway Sports Group of like $1.4 billion in response to, it was basically insurance to make sure that the top players didn't, go over to live. And they were like, "Hey, Rory, here's a bag of free money." But like, now the problem is all those guys at the top are worth tens of millions of dollars and money doesn't matter to them, right? So what needs to happen is you need to reallocate the funds to the young, men and women who are trying to become a professional golfer, right? And I'll conclude with this. If you are a young golfer, I put this up here on purpose. Cringe on purpose. If you are in your 20s or teenager, you need to be okay with creating cringe content, right? Because this is why. If you are a young golfer who's really fucking good and you're going to try to make a run at Q School or the Corn Ferry Tour, you need money, right? So like if you needed $7,000, I would give you $7,000. Like my information is in my bio. You need $7,000 to make a run at Q School? Sure. But then what do you need to deliver me? Because this is why like NIL isn't really NIL. What you need to do is you need to create $7,000 worth of value for my brands. The Golf Patch Kids, right? And if you start creating cringy content when you're still in high school, when you're in college, guess what? You're going to have thousands of people watching you, and then we would be able to make a deal. That's how capitalism works.